Hi everyone. In this video, I'm going to be talking about my lifetime puzzle journey, kind of how I got into puzzles as a young child, right up to where I currently am, including finishing my third Canadian Nationals a few weeks ago, and as I get prepared for the World Jigsaw Puzzle Championships in Spain in this upcoming September. So as you follow along with this video, I'm sure there's going to be some things that might relate to your puzzle journeys. You might have had a completely different experience. You might have gotten into puzzles a lot later in life, or you started really early like I did. But if you like something I've said, make sure you click like below, subscribe and follow along, as I'll be telling a lot of these different types of stories in upcoming videos. So let's get into it. I think for many people, we get into puzzles when we are very, very young. It's more of a way of just learning how things work, whether it's those giant floor puzzle mats or those wooden puzzles where one piece fits into one spot and it's usually some sort of barn animal or car or vehicle of some sort. And I was no different. I definitely had some of those types of puzzles. But I think what set me onto the path of doing so many puzzles over many, many decades would have been from Christmas when I was just 3 years old. And that's when this picture here was taken. In the background, you can't really see it, but I'll zoom in on the screen. There is a puzzle in the background, and I can't confirm it, but I'm feeling pretty confident here that this would have been my first 100-piece puzzle. So age of 3, we're jumping up into something that's pretty much setting the stage for everything that's going to follow in this video. It was a Where's Waldo puzzle, and at that age I also remember loving the Where's Waldo books. But since that picture was taken many decades ago, I have had at least 12 different addresses, lived in multiple countries across 3 different continents, worked in multiple countries, and I've done countless puzzles. I've moved and packed up things all the time. And you lose things along the way, but you do hold on to certain things. And that puzzle that I received many decades ago, I still have, and it's this one right here on my shelf, the Where's Waldo puzzle. While my collection is constantly changing, there will always be space on the shelves for these sentimental puzzles. And I like having it because it does show where the journey started, and it's something I can keep reflecting back on over many years. And that is a puzzle that will not be traded, it won't be sold, it will stay on my shelf regardless of how old it gets, or I get. Growing up, I did a lot of puzzles, not just jigsaw puzzles, but also word searches, find the difference types of puzzles, really anything that required paying attention to details and finding something within an image. And it's a skill. The more you practice, the better you're going to get at it. And I thought I was pretty good at doing those types of games and activities. And interest can change over time. And I think there's a big influence by especially at a young age, family members providing support and giving the opportunity to kind of help develop an interest and in those types of activities. Having a young child sit down for a long time and focus on a puzzle isn't always the easiest thing to do. But if you're supportive and there's other family members doing it with you, then you're kind of probably more likely to continue doing that. And I definitely had family members, one in particular who I'll talk about in a second, who is very supportive and very into making sure that I focused on puzzles and those types of activities, which helped in many other areas of my life as well. As I mentioned previously, I had a lot of puzzles growing up given to me by friends, family, whatever, and I still have some in my collection, which I'll talk about in a second. But what really helped solidify my passion for doing puzzles would have been through my grandpa and his love for puzzles. Sadly, he passed away in 2022, so he never saw me get into my current world of speed puzzling, which didn't really start until 2023. But he is the reason that I am very much into puzzles now. And with every puzzle I complete, there's a piece that I credit towards him, and he's there with every puzzle that I still do. He almost always had a puzzle on the go in his basement, and they use this very structurally sound, massive ping pong table to spread the puzzle out, and it was great. Unfortunately, I was not the tallest child or adult, and so I really couldn't see on top of this ping pong table. So instead, being the small child I was, probably this is age 8, 9, or 10 in this picture, I would just get right on the table. So I spent most of my time at my grandparents' house on this table doing whatever puzzle was put down at the time. Really, I was put into the puzzle. This is where I loved to be when I was at their house, and there's hours of memories spent on this table. I also want to mention that the puzzles that were at my grandpa's house weren't puzzles necessarily for kids like myself or my age. They were very much for my grandpa to complete. And while definitely more challenging for someone who was 9, 10 years old, it kept me involved in the process a lot longer. Instead of finishing a 100-piece puzzle in not a ton of time at that age, these were 500-piece puzzles, 1,000-piece puzzles that were a bit more challenging. So because of that, I was able to really develop that skill of paying attention to detail and looking at a bigger picture. As I got older, I was gifted a lot of puzzles, and just over time, you lose some to garage sales, you have to declutter when you are moving. There's many reasons that you just don't keep any puzzles, and for purely from storage issues, you have to get rid of some at some point. But there are some that you do try to hold on to. Well, I try to hold on to if they had some sort of sentimental value, or I thought were important for me to keep. And building on that first puzzle, Where's Waldo puzzle, I received a second one a few years later, which is right here. And I remember thinking at the time that this is probably the most challenging puzzle anyone could ever do. And I remember thinking this is a massive puzzle that's going to take forever to finish it, if I ever finish it. And I laugh about it now because looking at this puzzle, it's only 550 pieces, which nowadays is quite small compared to some of the puzzles that we have out there. But in my young child mind, this was a huge puzzle to complete. And it's been a long time since I've done it. I will be doing it soon in an upcoming video, so stay tuned for that. But thinking back there, I still remember some key aspects about this puzzle. And I still know where the real Waldo is in there as well. But it is an important puzzle to me, and it shows that I was challenged at a younger age. And this is another one that no matter how damaged this box gets or how old it gets, it will remain in the collection as well. Again, as I got older, I kept receiving puzzles, and the challenge level started increasing. Around my 11th birthday, which was in a photo right here, with my papa, who has also passed, sitting there beside me. You can see holding in my hand a 3D Titanic puzzle, one of the first 3D puzzles I received. And this continued for a long period of time. You could find these all over my house at the time. A special thank you to my mom, who tolerated having multiple 3D puzzles around the house all at once. I'm going to put some examples on the screen of some puzzles that I would have had at that time, including a miniature grandfather clock, which was actually on the ping pong table in the earlier picture that I showed. And that grandfather clock, which worked once the batteries went into it, was beside the fireplace for years. I remember there was a large Buckingham Palace puzzle and some other very odd ones that, again, stayed up longer than they probably should have. But again, thank you to to my family members and friends at that age for giving me some nice challenging puzzles, giving me a more unique and well-rounded experience in the puzzle world. But eventually you get to high school age where other things in life become more of a priority. And around the time I was in high school, the era of video games was taking off heavily. The first Xbox and PlayStations were out, and you're spending time doing that with friends. I'm in Canada, so you're playing road hockey on the streets when you can, and there's just a lot going on. And during that time, puzzles definitely started taking a back seat. Every so often, I might do one, but really, once I got to the age of about 15 or 16, puzzles essentially stopped for me, and there was no way to know if I was going to come back to it or move on to something else. Once I moved on to university, the puzzle life was done. Again, a lot of other stuff going on at that time. School becomes a bigger focus. There's parties to go to. There's activities to partake in. That you just don't have time to sit and do a 1,000-piece puzzle at your desk. So it would have been fair to say that at that time I would have thought the puzzling life, that was it for me. After finishing my undergraduate degree in Canada, I ended up moving to Scotland to do my teaching degree. Again, still no puzzles taking place at this point, and after finishing that, moving to Dubai to become a teacher. Again, still no puzzles. There's so many other things going on in the world that I wanted to enjoy and partake in, that puzzles really didn't even cross my mind at this point anymore, and no one really else brought them up either. So there's nothing really making me think about doing puzzles. But in December of 2017, I don't know what triggered it, but for some reason I just had a sudden urge to do a jigsaw puzzle. The passion for puzzles is always inside me somewhere, but at that point, just something said, hey, it would be fun to do a puzzle. I was on my winter break from teaching over the Christmas holidays, and I went into a toy store or some sort of store and found a puzzle, which wasn't easy to find in Dubai, and they were very expensive. But after not doing a puzzle for, who knows, 7, 8, 9 years, I thought it would be a good idea to buy a 3,000-piece puzzle, which is going to be on the screen in a second. And it took me a while to do this. I forgot how big puzzles can get. I had to do this one on the floor in my apartment at the time, and it took up more space than I thought and a lot more time than I thought as well. But it, again, kind of reactivated my love for puzzles. And over the next year, I did a couple more puzzles as well before moving back to Canada at the end of 2018. Now that I'm back in Canada, it's 2019, and puzzles have again become a bit of an afterthought. It's my first time living back in Canada after being gone for almost a decade, and there's just a lot of other stuff to do. And I had signed up to go back to school, do my master's, and that was really my focus for most of 2019 and into 2020. But as we all know, early 2020, kind of everything shuts down. COVID takes place, and a lot more isolation tends to happen. And while I was supposed to be completing my master's, motivation was tough, I think, for myself and other people during that time, and I was not getting a lot of work done on my thesis, and there was a few setbacks as well which were discouraging, and I kind of just spent most of my days playing some video games, partaking in some beverages on the patio, but heavily in isolation during this time because of lockdowns and everything else. And this extended for about, I would say, almost a year, probably just over a year. And again, just, I don't know how it came across. I think I stumbled across a YouTube page, likely something like Karen Puzzles, and saw her or someone doing puzzles for speed. And I thought, I like this. This seems like it's fun. It's something that I know I can do. I don't know how fast I'll be, but it's something I know I can do. And there's definitely an end to it. Trying to do my thesis, there was no end. We don't know when it was going to be over at that point, but doing this little activity, doing a puzzle of something I know I'll enjoy, kind of reactivated it. So I looked it up. April 10th, 2021, I purchased a bunch of puzzles. Again, forgetting the size of puzzles, I only purchased 3 2,000-piece puzzles for speed puzzling. I didn't know much about speed puzzling, and that clearly demonstrated that. By buying those puzzles in 2021, I kind of acted as a catalyst for doing multiple other puzzles, and my collection grew quite heavily during that time. I purchased a lot more puzzles. Family and friends started gifting me puzzles as well, and it was great to get back into that world of puzzles. And once I started looking more into the speed puzzling aspect and learning 2,000 pieces probably isn't the best way to go, I focused more on the 1,000-piece aspect. I had never done a 500-piece speed puzzle before. It didn't seem worthwhile to my time because you go through them so quick. What's the point? At least with a 1,000-piece puzzle, you're there for 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 hours, depending on how difficult it is. And I was really enjoying that. And then in 2023, again, stumbling across the internet somewhere, I saw that Canada was hosting their first ever nationals competition, which I decided to enter. I didn't have high expectations because I don't know how everyone else is or if they've been doing it longer. I practiced a bit 500-piece puzzles beforehand from all different types of brands. I think I only did 1 or 2 Ravensburger's puzzles, and I wasn't super prepared for the competition. Somehow I made it through the qualifications in that first 2023 Canadian Nationals as an individual and made it to the finals, finishing 19th overall. I don't have that puzzle on the shelf right here. Nope, I don't. And I think if I didn't make the finals, I'm probably not continuing speed puzzling right now. I probably would still do puzzles as enjoyment, but the competitive aspect I don't think would have continued. But making it to the finals really made me think, okay, maybe there's another aspect of puzzles that I can work on. And I'm really glad I made it into 19th place that year. Fast forward now to 7 months later. It's 2024, and the Canadian Nationals are taking place again. So of course, I am participating, hoping to improve on my 19th position. I'm not going to get into a lot of detail with my national results. I will save that for future videos. But the end result was, again, I made the finals. One of my favorite puzzles ever on the shelf here was the final puzzle, and moved up to 10th place. So a 9 spot jump. My time was better, and now I'm really into this speed puzzling aspect. Not since doing puzzles with my grandpa when I was a lot younger had I done puzzles as a group activity. It's always been individual based, but after competing at 2 different nationals as an individual, I thought it would be interesting to possibly consider partnering with some people or forming a team and participating in the other events. I was a bit hesitant with this. Again, I'm going to save this more detail for a future video. But in the summer of 2024, I started reaching out to potential puzzlers that were looking for a partner or to join a team. I met a few people to partner with or practice partnering with, and in late 2020, I competed in my first pairs competition with this puzzle right there, finishing third or fourth. We're not quite sure what the final one was. It's a small competition, but still made me feel pretty good. In December of 2024, I had my first team practice, which was great as well. And in the most recent Canadian Nationals that finished a few weeks ago, again competing as an individual with my best result ever at 7th place, which I'm very happy about. Competed with a partner, finishing in 12th place, which I'm also happy with, and competing with my team with this absolute nightmare puzzle on here, finishing in 2nd place by literally 1 second, which again, that is for a different video to go into detail on that a bit more. Still not thrilled with that, but 2nd place in my first teams competition. I was very grateful for my team members. I think we did a great job, and it's kind of bringing everything together at this stage. So that is it for this video. Thank you very much for listening to my puzzle journey story. Maybe some of my experiences matched yours. Maybe you have something different that you've experienced that you'd like to share, and if you do, please comment below this video. Click like if I said something that you enjoyed, and subscribe to keep following along with my puzzle stories and other content that I'm going to be sharing with you on this channel. Thank you to the early subscribers as well. It definitely means a lot, and there's going to be some exciting content coming up in the next few days, weeks, months on this channel. So yes, thank you again for listening to me, and until next time, happy puzzling. Bye.